Houston, and I'll be your presenter for this session today. This is leveraging teams to build a better business. You may see it titled Leveraging Teams to Scale Your Business. Either way, it's the same session. So welcome, everyone. I'm glad to see you all here today. I did want to let you know, as you know with technology, if there is a slight pause or something like that, just hang in there. You never know. I do have my husband here, so you may every now and then see me look up to him to make sure I'm still on. But we're going to get through this session, and hopefully you will leave with information to help you make a decision about scaling your business using a team. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen for you this morning. And this has been an awesome session. Convention. I understand that this is the last day, and I know I've enjoyed some sessions myself, and I just tell you, MVAR is just first class, so I appreciate being able to be a part of it. Michael, am I good? Okay. We're all good. All right, so we're going to jump right in. We're going to try to get you in and get you out. There are lots of sessions today, so this is just kind of an appetizer session to give you ideas for how to build your business. So I'm Tara Houston. I'm an associate broker with eXp Realty and vice president of Houston Consulting Group and Associates. Prior to being an associate broker, I was the broker for the principal broker for DC and Maryland for eXp Realty, and the compliance broker for the state of Virginia. And I tell you, that's where I saw a lot of teaming being done as the compliance broker, trying to keep everyone in compliance and understand that. And I also have a background in teaming myself. I'm honored to be your presenter today. Prior to being with eXp Realty, I was with a smaller brokerage, Classic Realty. And at the time when I was with that brokerage, it was my husband and I, Michael Houston. And the owner of the brokerage said, I want to try a team. And because we were all individual agents, we were a small brokerage, a very good brokerage, but small still. And she said, I want to try a team and to see if we can develop this concept of teaming. So it was wonderful. So she appointed my husband and I to be the team leaders and assigned other people to our team. So we managed a small team. I think there were about 5 or 6 of us, and it was a wonderful experience. We then later changed brokerages because she decided to close that brokerage, and we moved to eXp Realty. And many of those agents who were on our team followed us to eXp Realty, but we were not a formal team anymore. But because they followed us with our brokerage model, we're able to still benefit from the production of those who we attract to the company. So we have a nice group now. We've scaled it to 130 members. And we do run it similarly to a team, and I'll explain how, but we're not an official team registered with DPOR, the licensing commission, and it works for our purposes and needs. And so that's what we'll talk about, different ways you can do it. So to be very clear, we have been team leaders of a traditional team, and we are team leaders now of a non-traditional team of 130 agents spanning about 9 different states, and we have 3 sitting to onboard, and we're constantly growing. So we're going to talk about some things to think about. Okay, so our purpose today is that you leave this workshop with a greater understanding of how you can scale you could leverage a team to grow your business and scale your business through a team. The intended audience for this topic will be those agents who are considering a team as a business model to help them build a better business so they can live a better life. That's what it's all about. If we're not enjoying what we're doing, then why in the world are we doing it? So it's all about living a better life, a better quality of life, enjoying what we're doing. Now, you do have the chat box and you have the Q&A box. I do encourage you to use that as we are participating in this workshop. I want to make it as collaborative as possible. I will, after I go through the slides, only have about 15 slides, and it's not that many. We'll go through it quickly. Then I'll go to the chat box and the Q&A, and we can kind of chat and talk about teaming, if you have any specific questions suggestions or ideas and so forth. I would like you to type in the box now, though, if you're a member of a team or you are a team leader or you're just kicking tires with starting a team. So either you're already a member of a team, you are a team leader, or you're kicking tires and you're thinking about pursuing a team. So go ahead and chat your response in there, and I'll have to go back and look at those after I go through the slides. Okay, so let's talk about leverage. When we're talking about leverage, that's the bottom line. Leverage is what we're talking about. It allows you to do more with less. So whenever we're talking leverage, we're looking at how we can expand our efforts in our business without having to do all the work. There's a graphic, and I wish I could have found it for my slide, but it's a gentleman who is trying to lift the rock by himself on one screen, and on the other screen, it's a gentleman, and the rock is very, very tiny because he has a bunch of people with him. So it's the same rock, but it looks like it is shrink in size simply because he has more people helping him do it. So that's what you want to think about when you think about leverage. How can I do more with less of my own personal efforts, time, and energy? And everyone wins. When you think about team, you think, together everyone achieves more. So creating that win-win with the people you bring alongside you to accomplish their goals. There's nothing selfish in this. I do want to say that. It should never be selfish. Your intention should always be for the common good, the better good of you, your family, your quality of life, and for the common good and the betterment of those you bring alongside you. So everyone should be able to benefit from the team model, or I would question if it's really a team. Okay, so we'll talk about that. So various team models exist. There is a very common model where there's a buyer agent side and a listing agent side. And there is commitment to that. When you see the word commitment, what I mean is oftentimes there's some type of contract. There is some type of agreement that says, I will do this, you will do that. Many times the team name may be registered with the DPOR, the Licensing Commission, or it may just be that you advertise yourself as a team. It just depends, but there's some commitment in model number one. Sometimes it's the buyer agent side and the listing agent side, and it may just not be one agent on each side. It may be a group of agents that constitute buyer agents and a group of agents that constitute listing agents. Doesn't matter. It's whatever you decide to do. The second model is similar to what I expressed now, where, we have about 130 people and growing in our group. It's an individual agent, and you have what you call project assistants, and there's no commitment. And the no commitment doesn't mean you're not treating people fairly, honestly, and justly. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about no commitment. What it actually means is you're not obligated to provide leads, and you're not obligated to share leads with each other. Project assistants are simply those projects where if I am working with a buyer and I no longer wish to show properties because I'm so busy and my time and energy is spent elsewhere, then I employ what's called project assistants who get paid a portion of the commission. Maybe they go to the home inspection. Maybe they perform all the showings. Maybe they write a portion of the contract. It depends. There's no real rule to how you do it, but that's just a model that we have been using, my husband and I, and it's been working wonderful. And everyone's achieving and winning in that model. The other model, which is very popular and one that's really taken the world of real estate by storm, is the mega team with the rainmaker, and you probably know some. If I were to name some of the teams, which I won't, if I were to name some, you would know them because you may have one team name where that person's the rainmaker. They bring in all the leads. Everything's done in their name. They're, doing major volumes. There is some commitment there, meaning there is some obligations back and forth between the team leader and the team members, but that's the mega team where you have 15, 20 people, sometimes 30 and 40 people that are out there hitting the streets in the name of the rainmaker. And then there are other creative models. There's no real like I said, one size fits all. It depends on what you're really trying to accomplish. And so what I'll do over the next couple slides is just talk about some of the reasons why you may consider joining a team or starting a team. Things to keep in mind with teaming before we go into that is that there are state regulations regarding teams. Virginia recently revised their rules and regulations for how to operate as a team. It's kind of loosely regarded, but it's one of those things where if it's like a duck, it talks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. So if you're advertising as a team, people see you as a team, you're doing things as a group, you could be considered a team. But you have to look, I know we have people that are probably viewing this that aren't necessarily Virginia. For example, Maryland has specific rules and regulations about teams. So depending on the state that you're in, you need to get in tune with the regulations regarding teams. Secondly, is to understand agency in teams. Regardless of where you are, there are certain rules and guidelines that will talk about agency. For example, in particular, dual agency. Dual agency should be handled carefully in teams because of the understanding that there's confidential information. How do you know what the other agent doesn't know? Because you share a team, you share information. So you want to make sure you understand agency very carefully if you're considering a team. The third is the code of ethics in teams. Deals with agency as well, but also how you're promoting yourself, how you're advertising, how you're marketing your services. Teams and compensation. There are very legal guidelines as to who has to pay you if you're on a team. There are certain, and we don't get into these details on this particular presentation, but there are certain individuals who have to be compensated by the broker, regardless if they're on a team, if they're a part of a team or not, if they're licensed, and then how do you pay and compensate your unlicensed individuals? So there are different guidelines to that. And so that's why I had number 5, just broker guidance. Wherever you are, if you have a team, you need to go to your broker and get their particular guidance on teams and make sure you're doing everything above board and correctly and accurately. Okay, let's get going here. Okay, 2 common types of agents who may consider a team. The first one will be the new agent, maybe less experienced agent, who's wanting to get established, to learn, to grow. Maybe it's the experienced agent who's wanting to scale his or her business and or has more than he can handle. Sometimes, you've been in business a while and you have so many leads you can't even handle them, and you're referring those leads out, and you're thinking, you know what, there should be a way for me to capitalize more than just a referral fee. Well, maybe a team is the way to go for you. So we're going to talk about ways to get started regardless. Okay, benefits to a new agent. So the first agent I talked about was a new agent or less experienced, sometimes a dual career agent who just doesn't have time to focus 100% of their day on real estate may fall into this category as well. But how you may benefit if you are a new agent with joining a team. One is just learning the business. On a team, there should be coaching and mentoring. Am I good, Michael? Okay. There should be coaching and mentoring. There should be some type of development on the team where you're learning the business. You should be able to shadow. You should be able to understand the paperwork. You should be able to learn how to generate leads. All of those benefits should come to new agents once they join a team. Number 2 is accountability. There should be some goals that have been set by the team leader that everyone's tracking towards. So there's accountability. You're no longer on an island by yourself. You're no longer just a lone ranger doing everything on your own. You now have to be accountable to someone. And iron sharpens iron. So that accountability will help you to become a better agent and to build a better business so you can live a better life. Number 3 is oftentimes you have the support staff on a team. You have transaction managers, you have clerical people who help provide support for marketing, for the transaction, kind of keeping the checklist going. You have that support that you may not have as a lone ranger. Number 4 is leads. And I should have put leads in big, bold words because many times that's the best benefit. Because as a new agent, sometimes it's just hard to generate those leads. It's hard to get people to trust you, even if they know you and like you. You know, we always say know, like, and trust. They may know you and like you, but they just don't trust you. You've never had a transaction, or maybe you've only had one transaction. So the leads that will benefit a new agent are often attractive. And then number 5, you have a home. You know, we all have a home because we have to affiliate with a brokerage. But do we really have a home? Do we have a place to belong? Do we have a group of people we can call and be carefree who we can, if you're on the right team, we should feel safe with sharing our insecurities about the business. And we should feel safe saying, hey, I have a challenge with this. Do you have a place where you can feel safe? Well, many new agents like teams because they get that safety through a team. And then number 6, and this is just important. I mean, you don't want to be in business. Money's not everything, but money is everything because you don't want to be in business and not bring in money. This could be a very expensive hobby, you all. This could be a very expensive hobby. And so you don't want to just be in business and not have any income coming. So sometimes, you know, you may say, well, I could make more by myself. But you know what? 100% of nothing is still nothing. So I would rather, if I'm new and I'm on a team, I'm only making 50% of something. I'm not talking commissions. I'm just saying overall how much you're making. I'm making 50% of something. That's better than making 100% of nothing. When you agree, if you agree, type it in the chat that you agree with that. So there are many benefits to you as a new agent. And this is really for you to think about. And this is something that it's a great way for you to grow your business and get established. And then you may decide later to break off and do your own thing or start your own team or expand or specialize or something like that. But benefits to a new agent, there are multiple with joining a team. Now let's talk about to the experienced agent, because the experienced agent has a different set of problems. You are experienced and you possibly have more leads than you can handle, or you want to specialize, or you need to move and relocate, but you have a great book of business here. You don't want to lose all that momentum you have. So let's talk about some of the benefits to an experienced agent. The first one is lead coverage. I mean, for us personally, I told you our group, we have a number of agents. We get leads sometimes we can't handle. So we have 130 people and growing that we can go to and put out there and say, hey, we have this lead and so such and such, who can take it? And it gets covered. I was on a class 2 days ago where I told you that I believe in niches. And so my niche has shifted. So some of the more general things that I get, I'm referring those things out to those members in my team and in my group so I can focus. So there's lead coverage. Number 2, there's better quality of life, because now, you know, if you have kids or you have parents you're taking care of, or you have other things in life that are going on, your business doesn't have to suffer at that. You can now have other people who are supporting you and helping you run the business. And in turn, you're helping and supporting them too, because some of them who are helping you and you're getting a better quality of life are those that were on the other slide that need to learn the business. They need to grow. They need the income. So everyone's winning. Number 3, you get leverage through listings, because you can say, well, I'm not going to work with buyers anymore. We know those who control the inventory, control the market. Well, the only way to control the inventory is to have most of the inventory, thereby through listings. So if you want to focus on your listing business, you can have someone else help you with your buyer business. Leverage through others, just other people's time, efforts, and energy. Number 5, it allows you to specialize. I just mentioned how I believe in specializing and working in niches. So it allows you to focus on a niche and grow that particular niche. Number 6, you now have something that's sellable. A sellable business is really a true business. If you can sell your book of business, you can sell, your leads, you can sell your structure, then you have a real business. If someone else could take what you've designed and run with it and pay you a fee for it, you now have that sellable business. Number 7, leadership opportunity. Many of us are just leaders and we know it, and people are calling us all the time, asking questions, asking advice, asking this, asking that. You may as well just start a team so you can bring them on and get compensated for all this great wisdom and stuff you're sharing anyway. You may as well do that. So it's a great leadership opportunity. So 8 considerations, and we're about done. But I want you to think about this. 8 things you should consider before starting a team. Number 1, what is your why? Why do you want to start a team? Are you starting it for the right reason? Do you have priorities? When your priorities are clear, your decisions are easy. So when you have priorities and you know that this is where your business is headed, it will help you make a better decision as to why you're starting that team. It will help you make a better decision as to what type of agents you want to affiliate yourself with on your team. It can't be for selfish reasons. Many people, I like what one of my brokers says. He says, well, so-and-so must have taken his big shot pills this morning. We're not just taking big shot pills and say, I've arrived, I'm a team leader. It's probably not the right reason to do it. It should be about building a better business, with a great vision and a great mission. So examine your why. Examine your why. You must have that. It must be clear. It must be a priority. Or when you start to have issues or the team's not working exactly right, or you have someone on your team and you need to possibly let them go, if that why is not strong enough, you'll struggle in those areas. And as a team leader, there's not a lot of room for turning back, changing everything. People have changed their lives. They've joined you. They've changed their marketing. Many of them may have spent money. They may have canceled subscriptions. They may have that. So you need to be very clear when you're starting a team with knowing why you're doing it and what those priorities are going to be. Number 2, remember we have the chat box and we have the Q&A. So if you have questions or comments about anything I'm saying, please drop them in. We want this to be as collaborative as possible. Number 2, are you ready to lead? There are lots of people that have great sales skills. I mean, they could sell, ice. What's that saying? You can sell ice to an Eskimo. And the point behind that is, why would an Eskimo need more ice? But if you're good at selling, you can sell it to them. But are you ready to lead? Can you lead others? Can you teach other people what you know? Can you inspire other people? Are you willing to share? A lot of times we're so closed in our business and no, this is my secret. I'm not going to share everything. As a leader, you may have to share more. You have to be transparent. You may have to share that you don't know everything or that you didn't know everything or that you made a mistake. Do you have good stories that you can share? Leadership requires transparency. Can you take the heat of running a team? Can you take the heat, meaning the responsibility? Can you really deal with what it takes to be the leader of others in the industry? That is very important because your name's going to be out there. If one of your agents goes out and they don't provide the same level of service that you provide, it's not them. It's not that person. It's you. If you go to one Walmart and you have one, and I'm just using Walmart. I like Walmart, so it's not bad, and I'm not all that gung-ho about it, so I'm not pro either. I'm just using it as an example. You go to Walmart and you have a bad experience. You may have a bad experience because one of those employees did something that you didn't like. But at the end of the day, you don't even know that person. You just don't like Walmart. Because you said Walmart, that's the team leader name for the sake of our example. Walmart, they don't care about people. They're rude. And it's not even the whole organization. It's just this one or two people that you had a bad experience with. Same thing with being a leader. Are you willing to take that kind of heat if one of your people kind of veers off path or does something that you're not willing to do? Can you train them so that that's less likely to happen? Are you ready to take that on? You can no longer be selfish as a team leader. You have to think about other people. Number 3, do you have the right systems in place to run a team? Now, if you were in my husband's 27 cliches for cash and real estate yesterday, if not, get the recording when they publish all the recordings. You will know that systems is an acronym for saves you stress, time, energy, and money. That's what a system does. Okay, saves you stress, time, energy, and money. So if you have systems in place, it's not only going to save you stress, time, energy, and money. It's going to save the people who join you stress, time, energy, and money, because there needs to be some benefit to them. You need to have systems too to keep you compliant, to make sure that the quality of service that you've been known for. I can tell you, if you are at the point where you can even consider a team, you have that much business coming in, you have good business practices, or people wouldn't keep referring you. They wouldn't keep trusting you to do business. They wouldn't like you if you're not. So do you have that structure? Do you have it documented so that someone else can come in, learn your systems, and duplicate that? So you need to have your systems airtight and in place. Number 4, do you have a plan for expansion? As you grow your team, how are you going to get the word out that you're looking for someone to be on the team? Maybe you know the person, but even as you start to work that team, you may need to expand into different territories. What if you want to join other states? What if you want to grow in other states? What if you want to grow in other areas? Why should they just join your team over another? I've already told you, it's one of the hottest trends going in real estate now. Most people will tell you that when they scaled their business, the first thing they did was grow a team. And some teams look like mini brokerages. I say look like because from a ethics standpoint and a licensing standpoint, they should not run like one because the broker is the broker. But they're almost mini brokerages, in that they have their team leader, they have their document, they have their meetings, they have all of that. Why should an agent join your team? Are you set up and ready to go? What would be the benefit to them? To go along with that is how will you train and onboard new agents and staff? When people join you, is it a seamless process? Do you have everything set up? Your logos, your paperwork, your forms, all of that. A lot of that may come through, the brokerage, especially if they're coming from a different brokerage. But if they're joining your team, there still should be an onboarding process for you and your team. People shouldn't be floundering out there, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to order business cards, not knowing any of that. You should be their guide and make sure they have a smooth onboarding process. Can you delegate? If you can't delegate, don't try to lead a team. I'll just tell you, you have to be able to let something go. You have to be able to trust other people to handle it. Now, you can only do that if you have the systems in place, the training in place to do it. You don't want to just blindly say, okay, go ahead and handle it. You don't even know if they know a lockbox from a sign. But can you delegate? And dealing with that delegation, when we're talking delegation, we're talking about, are you prepared to delegate? Have you prepared them to the point that they can receive what you're giving them? Have you prepared your business to the point that it's something you can delegate? All of these things kind of build on each other. Number 7, what are your production and accountability goals for your team members? Do you even have those? These are things you should have in place before you even say you're going to start a team. Now, I know sometimes we fly by the seat of our pants. The business is booming. I've started business before, and that's basically what I did. I flew by the seat of my pants, but I found it was a miserable way to start it, because you're behind from the beginning. But if you have to, you have to. But these are things you may say, well, I already have a team, and I don't even have any of this stuff. Well, these are things you should have. As you're going in, you should be in 2021 now. You should know what production you're expected for 2021. You should know how you're going to hold your team members accountable for it. Number 8, you must have a team culture. You must have a team mission. You must have a team vision. It can't be my team mission and vision is for me to build a better business so I can live a better life. That's wonderful in the back of your head. But at the end of the day, that is not a team mission. That's a selfish quest. Okay. And to some degree, it's okay because we're in business to live better lives. But you can't put that out to your team because your team is not going to feel that like you do. So your team culture must be bigger than you. It must be that we're doing this. Our group at EXP is called Legacy Builders Global. You probably saw the logo in my opening slide. We feel that everyone should be able to build their legacy in real estate, regardless of who they are. If they are a realtor, if they are a client, I don't even care if they're my nail technician and they haven't even bought a house. Well, how can I help you build your legacy? That's why we call ourselves Legacy Builders Global. And guess what? We're not just doing that here in the DMV. We're doing it globally. So all of our team members, those who are a part of our group, they understand that they're doing something bigger than themselves that's going to impact the world. That's the whole point of our culture. Do you have your culture? Do you have your mission statement? Do you have your vision statement? Can you do that? Does everything you do go back to that culture statement, that mission statement, that vision? Sometimes it is a part of your team name. Sometimes it isn't. But it should be written out, and people who join your team should know it and understand it and make sure they can abide by it and they can subscribe to it and that they are taking that on. So those are the 8 things that you should consider. These are just the considerations. Now I would say there are probably 28 things that you have to consider, 38, 48 as you continue to grow. But those are the bare essentials for starting a team. Now, I will tell you, NAR has recognized that, the team is one of, as I said, one of the industry hot topics and one of the main ways people are scaling their businesses. So a few years ago, they developed, and some of you may have it. If you have it, type it in the chat box. They developed what's called the Certified Real Estate Team Specialist. If you're really interested, I believe in specializing and getting designations that help me, meet my particular goals. Those of you who know me and have been in my classes before. So if this is one you're interested in, you may look at this because you're going to go through, I forget how long the training is, but it's at least 8 hours. I said at least 8 hours. You're going to go through a training where you're going to be provided with all the tools that you need to start your team and to operate a team. I don't have this designation. I've studied it before, reviewing the documents and stuff, but I don't actually have it. It's not something I needed for my particular business. But if it is something that you're considering and you're at the stage and you said, I need specific help and guidance, you may consider that. Okay, so thank you very much. I will look at the chat, so don't log out yet. But this slide, if you want to take a picture of this slide, this is how you can get in touch with me. If you want to pitch an idea, you say, well, I'm thinking of starting a team. I wanted to talk to you more about this. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And would love to chat with you about your ideas. So what I'm going to do now is stop sharing and look at the chat. Let's see. Let's see if there are any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions. So it looks like we're good. Someone says they're ready to scale their business. Thank you, Ryan. I love being here too. I appreciate it. And I think we're pretty good. I don't see any questions. I'll sit a few minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions. But this concludes our presentation on leveraging a team to build your business. Someone says, do you consult with new teams? Jeffrey, I absolutely will. With Houston Consulting Group, we provide consultation to small businesses by way of helping them look at their business, marketing, and branding. So absolutely, you have my information in that last slide. So yes, and you can look me up on Facebook. So I do. I absolutely do. Okay, any other questions or comments? I appreciate the positive feedback and comments. Okay, well, you all enjoy your day. It's been my pleasure to be with you. Enjoy the rest of the convention, and hopefully, I'll see you around at future sessions. All right, happy teaming. Okay, have a good day, everybody. I'm going to close out the session now.